Welcome to the very first episode of Tech Talk with Zustech. Now, this is a space where we break down the latest in tech, career growth, and industry trends, helping you navigate the world of IT with expert insights. And what better way to kick off this series than with the visionary behind it all? Today, we have the powerhouse guest. Actually, he's the main lead of this podcast, Mr. Emmanuel Anyaegbu, the CEO of Zustech. Yeah, and he is the leader in the tech training space, dedicated to helping aspiring professionals break into business analysis, software testing, product ownership, and beyond. Under this leadership, Zustech has transformed countless careers, bridging the gap between education and real-world job opportunities. Now, in this episode, we'll dive into his journey, the future of tech careers, and what makes Zustech a game changer in the industry. So, Mr. Emmanuel, it's an honor to have you here. Welcome to Tech Talk with Zustech.
Thank you, Ese. Thank you for that introduction. I feel honored to be part of this episode. Thank you, and thank you for your audiences, your audience as well. So happy to roll.
Okay, that's so good. So now, can you introduce yourself and share a bit about your background in tech? Tell us the journey.
Excellent, happy to do so. So I, as you mentioned, I'm Emmanuel Anyaegbu. I am your what you call your all-round IT consultant. But I just want to say that a lot of people, when I say that, people think, this guy must have studied, computer engineering, computer science, information technology. Far from it. I started as a microbiology. I did my BSc in microbiology. Finished microbiology. Yeah, and interesting. So it's even though microbiology is a little bit of science, but it's got nothing to do with IT. And I transitioned from microbiology, did my master's in public health. Again, not related to IT. So if you're wondering and listening and thinking, before you transition into IT, you must have studied all these courses. I'm here to tell you that that's not really the case from my personal experience. So from there, I decided, I need to change. I've been hearing about tech, following tech. Naturally, I am inclined to sort of, techie stuff, listening to news and the rest. And then from discussion with friends, seeing what's going on online, the trajectory. And then I decided, I have to pivot from being a sort of a public health specialist and then moving into tech. So that is how my journey started. So my journey actually started, over a decade ago. And that's how I got into tech. So I started doing, personal reading, training, did multiple training, all that to get in that. So that is my journey into tech. And since then, I have I started as a software tester, became a software tester. And then from there, I moved into automation testing, writing code, using a program, C# and other codes to test applications. Then from there, I transitioned into business analysis, worked several years as a BA. And then from there, I also transitioned into project management, worked as a project manager, moved into product ownership, worked as a product owner, and then Scrum Master. I also worked as a Scrum Master. I also have experience in architecture, business architects to be precise, and I have led several, projects, internationally delivering multiple projects worth millions of pounds. So I've been there, done that. So from my experience, I worked across different domains. I have worked in banking, I've worked in transport, I've worked in insurance, I have worked in health, I have also worked in an investment firm as well. So I've worked in public service as well. So I've been very lucky to get my hands dirty, as they say it, across different domain and industries. So that is me. And then from there started Zustech as well, so which I'm happy to talk about. So that's me, that's my journey. That's how I got into tech. Thank you.
Wow. I must say that you're really, really like super genius for you to just get into all sphere of businesses and careers, from banking to transportation, from health even. Wow, that's so mind-blowing. And then now you're into tech, you're into, software testing. Your brain must be so powerful, Albert Einstein kind of brain for you to capture all
that. To be honest,
for you to capture all of that.
Yeah, I think the listeners they'll be listening and be thinking this guy was brainy, like you said.
You're really brainy.
I wouldn't really. I would disagree with that. To be honest, I would disagree. I'm not brainy. I'm just an average person. But what I have is
no. I don't think so. I don't think so, because for all of this, you must have really put so much effort. Did you not have challenges in all of this? Studies and all of it. It's quite fascinating.
I definitely have challenges, and that's that challenge. I'm happy to share that, as I've shared in the past, right? So I live in the United Kingdom, London to be precise. Lived in London for years. When I was in my masters, I, like most of the international students, studied. So they are studying. I worked in jobs. I worked in different jobs. I worked in McDonald's. I worked in as a kitchen porter. I've done several jobs, right? So I worked in security.
Yeah.
So the only job I've probably not done like international students do is care, because I ran away from it. But I would have gone into the world from that point of view. So I faced a lot of challenge, which a lot of people, your listeners, must have faced these challenges. So the reason I'm sharing this challenge is to let people know that you can do that. If I'm able to do that, I believe anyone else can do that. So not coming from a tech background, there was a challenge. I did Prince 2 first. When I finished my master's, this Prince 2. I found out that I shouldn't have done that, because I just did certification. But certification is not enough to get a job. So some of the challenges I faced, I had to do training, look for online where they do training courses. I did 4 different training courses. They were not giving me what I want. Why?
Yeah.
The training courses are mostly theoretical, right? So from a theoretical angle, I cover all the theoretical angle. But when I go for an interview, which I remember an interview I went for, years ago, that interview was so horrible that at some point I wanted the interview to end there and then, because I have not really been able to master some of the practical questions that are being asked, because I have that theoretical knowledge. Even though I've tried, I read. So what I do, I go on the train, going to work, I read. Then I do 12-hour shift. Anytime I have opportunity, I stay back and read on the bus. I have experiences where sometimes I'll be reading, I'll sleep off and I miss my stop, right? So that's an interesting experience I've faced. Right? Wow. So these are the challenges I faced that, from my point of view, reading, giving it a go, reading all manner. So trying to cover the background, the gap I faced not being into IT. So I read so many articles, I read online, I attended trainings, and then that's how the challenges I faced. So it wasn't really easy, but I finally got there as well. And that is one of all these challenges, is that what led to giving birth to Zustech, so that our listeners, individuals, people that are facing similar challenges, that want to transition their career, that wants to go into IT, that wants to live a better life for themselves, will not be able to face the same challenge that someone of myself faced as well. So I'm happy to go into more detail, but that's the challenges I faced as well. And that's how I was able to sort of master those challenges and be able to progress as well.
Dear listeners, you just heard Mr. Emmanuel, he just said he did so much effort, he pushed, not giving up. He was reading on the train, he was studying. That means if you put your mind to anything, you can actually achieve it. That's what you just told us right now, Mr. Emmanuel, that if you put your mind to it, whatever goal you want to achieve, just set your mind to it. It's a mind thing, So that's really, really, really quite powerful. Now, I want to ask again, so what do you think is the vision and the mission of Zustech? What's the plan? What's the A game of Zustech? The vision. A lot of people want to know.
Zustech. Yeah, excellent. The vision of Zustech is very simple. Get you into work. Get you professional IT jobs. That's the simple vision of Zustech, right? Get every individual interested in changing your career, getting into tech, being able to enjoy the sort of all the good things working in tech provides, we are here to become a vehicle, a support system, to provide you that opportunity, to provide you the care, the support, the training, the hand-holding required to be able to transition. As I said, I don't want people to face the challenges I've faced. And some of the things I've noticed or I've learned over the years, my personal challenges, the challenges of speaking to all the learners that want to transition and get a job in IT, professionals that have worked done other roles, bankers, civil servants and the rest that want to transition. What I usually say is that some of the challenges that you face is not having experience. That's a very big challenge, right? So you're not having experience, but the roles out there require you to have experience. So how are you going to get experience if you haven't done it before? Sometimes it becomes a chicken and egg situation. What comes first, the chicken or the egg, right? So people face a lot of that challenge. The other thing as well, from my point, is then not being in tech, right? You studied any course you studied, or you've not even gone to uni, right? How do you transition into IT? So Zustech is there to help you navigate all of that and successfully help you to get a job. So that's the mission, vision of Zustech, and we've successfully done that over the years, helping hundreds of learners to transition from not knowing anything in tech, getting a job in tech, and becoming experts and transitioning their career in tech. So that's the simple vision in IT that Zustech have, and I'm happy at some point to go into practical details on how we'll be able to achieve that and how we'll be able to help those that wants to transition as well to transition in tech. Hopefully that answers your question.
I think so, but there's this mindset that people see tech. People see it like coding. They love see like it's going to be like some mathematics calculations, solving calculus, that kind of thing. It's like some kind of thing, people just imagine that this is really hard. And you're saying that anybody can actually go into tech. Now you know that for you went into, you were coming from the science world, actually from, so someone who is into arts, or just a simple marketer, someone who is in the market, or, that just basically understand some simple things about life. You're saying that it is possible for that person to get into tech. Is that what you're saying?
Exactly what I'm saying. And just to clarify,
so I don't have to be from the science world to go into tech.
Definitely not. And a lot of people would attest that we have so many learners, we call students, family Zustech members, that don't have any sort of science background, that have gone into tech. So you don't need to have studied science. You don't need to have a degree to have a job in IT, and you don't need to have worked before to be able to get a job in IT. And this is a known fact. The other thing I wanted to clarify, when we say tech, people have the mindset that tech is all about writing programs, computer programs, seeing those interesting, confusing, abstract lines of code. That's not really all what tech is about, right? So gone are those days where before you get into tech, you have to be guru, you have to be a nerd. No, that's not the case. When it comes to tech, there are two sides of tech, right? You have the technical or techie side of tech, if that makes sense. And then you have the business side of tech, the tech that doesn't involve a lot of jargons, abstract words, coding, and the rest. And that's the tech that a lot of people go into. Business analysis, software testing, product owner, scrum master. You don't need to code. In fact, you don't even need to have even touched a line of code or configuration of systems and the rest to be able to do that. Definitely. What they require is someone with a skill set, which is a skill set in the things you do in your normal practice. Managing stakeholders, planning, collaborating, speaking to people, organizing, scheduling meetings. These are the normal activity that a lot of us would have done in their day-to-day job that has nothing to do with tech, right? So what we do very well at Zustech is to explain that, bring an idea, bring your background, what you've done in the past, show you where what you've done in the past relates to what you'll be doing in tech, and then help coach and mentor you and use those buzzwords, right? Keywords that they use. And that's the other thing is if you're going into a new industry, that you've not been before, there are some key words, buzzwords that they use, right? And those buzzwords, once you hear that, it throws you off balance and you get scared. Again, as Zustech, when we're here to handhold you to say, you know what, when you talk about stakeholder analysis, stakeholder management, what we're actually talking about is collaborating with people, working with people, how you manage people, which you do in your day-to-day job. When you say, things like, let's elicit, manage requirements, now we say that and say, you know what, don't be scared. It's not really a requirement. It's about what information, what do you need, what do you want in the process, which is also what you do in your normal day-to-day job. So now that's the key part where we found out that a lot of people being scared going into IT because they have that mindset of, I am not a techie person. What I'm saying to you today, if you're listening, our listeners, is you don't need to have techie background. You don't need to be technical to go into tech. There are business-friendly technical roles that you can work as well, that many people have done that, and they pay really well as well. Thank you.
Wow, this is quite insightful. Now I understand that anybody can actually do this, because this is like a day-to-day relationship you have with people around you, your neighbor, so you're saying that even joining the IT industry, there's this part of where you can actually just deal with, your boss, and all of that, reaching out to people. So it's like a people relationship, a social, that's where you talk about the business part of the tech. So that's where we have business analysis, right?
Yes, and certainly. Yes, certainly.
Oh,
right.
Oh, yeah. Now it's quite clear. Anyway, I'm sure that, the listeners have actually had like some amazing moments, that they've heard, from Mr. Emmanuel, the CEO of Zustech. We've unpacked so much today, and from his journey to tech to the impact of Zustech in shaping careers and the future of the business analysis and IT education. If you've been inspired by today's discussion, and if you're looking to break into tech, now is the time to take action, because Zustech has the resources, the training moment, the mentorship you need to get started and succeed. So make sure you follow Zustech on all platforms. We're on YouTube, we're on TikTok, we're on Facebook, and get updates on the training programs, events, and career opportunities. And of course, stay tuned for more exciting episode of Tech Talk with Zustech. We're not going anywhere. We're going to continue bringing you industry leaders, and Mr. Emmanuel is going to be here to guide us through, with expert insights and career changing advice. So Mr. Emmanuel, I just want to thank you so much for this opportunity, for being like the first guest of Tech Talk with Zustech. It's been an absolute pleasure, sir. This is so much, because we have like weeks to unfold what Zustech is all about, what tech is all about. We have moments to talk about interviews, for someone who hasn't, had a tech background, and you're saying we can boldly come into tech. Now I have an interview to prepare for, and all of that. You're saying that Zustech is here to guide us through, even though I don't have a background in tech.
Definitely. That's what we're saying. Excellent. That's what we're saying.
Okay. That was really good. Anyway, viewers and listeners, and dear listeners, I hope you all had a great time. This was a moment to just have a good time with the CEO himself of Zustech. And I hope to see you all again the next episode. Please subscribe to all our channels on YouTube, here on Spotify, everywhere. We got you covered. Thank you.
Thank you for having me. Thank you. Bye-bye. Thank you, listeners. Have a good day.